Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lily and I make videos all about writing here on YouTube. And today in this video I want to do like a miniature Preptober writing vlog, and I also want to talk a bit about my plans for NaNoWriMo, or more specifically for November, since NaNoWriMo technically doesn't exist anymore. So in case you don't know what Preptober and NaNoWriMo are, although I'm sure most of you watching this do know what these things are, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. It was an organisation that existed until very recently, and every single November I guess they'd organise a sort of writing challenge where people dedicated the month of November to writing 50,000 words, specifically of a new project, but people did their own versions of NaNoWriMo, but the traditional way of doing it was that you'd write 50,000 words of a book in 30 days. As a result, people would spend October planning and prepping for November, and therefore October kind of gained the nickname Preptober. And today, as of when I'm filming this, it is October 8th. 2025, and I just want to film a little vlog going over what I'm doing in Preptober and how I'm planning for doing my own little version of NaNoWriMo this year. Obviously the organisation does not exist anymore, but I would still find it fun to challenge myself to writing 50,000 words in 30 days. So before I dive into what I'm doing in October and November specifically, I'm going to talk a little bit about where I am at in my writing journey right now. So in case you're new here, I am currently working on a vampire romantasy. It's a book I've been working on for I think 3.5 years now. I think I came up with the idea in around February of 2022, started drafting it, and I'm now on draft 3, or towards the end of draft 3 in October of 2025. So I'm about 81,500 words into the manuscript. So I am now in Act 3, which is very exciting. I haven't actually filmed being in Act 3 yet. All of my other vlogs, I was either in, I think, Act 2. Yeah, I think just Act 2 is all I filmed on this YouTube channel. So yeah, it's an exciting milestone to hit, to finally be in the last part of the book. I always talk about this, but whenever I whenever I go through a big point in the book, whether it's, the beginning or breaking into Act 2, going past the midpoint, breaking into Act 3, whenever I hit those like big kind of like writing milestones, I always go through like a mini writing slump. So I don't know if I'd call it a slump, but I'm lacking motivation. So I'm not as excited as I was about last week when I was like hitting the end of Act 2 and I was really motivated to hit that like beginning of Act 3 milestone. Now I'm at a point in the book where I'm like, oh god, like the milestone, which is like the end of the book, is still so far away. I've still got like another 20,000 words to write. So my pace has been slowing down a little bit. However, and I hate mentioning this because I mention it all the time in these vlogs and it's getting a bit tiring, I am doing 75 hard, the writing challenge. So basically I started it August 1st and it will end midnight on October 15th. So basically the end of October 14th, which is only like less than a week away from now, which is scary. And a goal I set for myself was to finish this book by the end of those 75 days. So by the end of October 14th. And I'm not quite there yet. I am going to hit it. I don't care what I need to do, I will hit that. But today and tomorrow are very crucial. So basically I'm at 81,000 words. I think I'm 3 chapters into Act 3, and I reckon I've got another, I want to say 8 chapters to go, maybe like another 20,000 words. And I am going to a wedding this weekend. So tomorrow until Sunday, I will be in wedding mode. And then on Monday, I have a job interview. So I've got a few things coming up that will definitely slow down my writing or potentially hinder it entirely, depending on how much I choose to prepare for the job interview, how, absorbed I am in the wedding, and I feel like writing on the train and that sort of stuff. So basically, today is a very crucial day, because today and the 14th of October are the only 2 days where I am completely free to write and do whatever I want, and I'm not distracted by other events. Now I've kind of accepted that October 14th is going to be a day where I just do like a crazy word day, probably like 10 to 15k words in one day. Oh, that's so spooky, my door just opened and closed and there's no one in the house but me. Oh well. Yeah, so I've accepted that October 14th is going to be a painful day no matter what, and an exciting day because I get to finish the book. But today I would like to get as many words on the page to like take some of the pressure off myself next week. So I'm hoping today I'll have like a 5k word day. I think a 5k word day is quite good. And if I try and write like another 5k on the evening of the 13th after my job interview, that could be great as well. Although I do get a bit hyper after job interviews, you know, when like the adrenaline rush and the anxiety just like hit you after you've spoken to people. That's besides the point. Anyway, I'm going to try and write on the October 13th as well. And October 14th, that's called like a 10k word day. It's painful, but it's doable, and I can accept that as a punishment for not writing more the rest of 75 hard. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, I'm going to have a heavy couple writing days and a lot of craziness going on in my life. So that's what I'm doing for the first little bit of October, I suppose. So up until the middle of October. October 15th. Then after October 15th, in my original plan, I said that I would work on Project Love. So Project Love is kind of like I'm calling it an Emily Henry book set in the fantasy world. So it's very much a romantasy. It's going to be more character driven. It's not going to be like, you know, heroine goes out and fights the dragons. It's going to be more of like a cozy, cutesy romantasy. And I am so excited to work on that. And then my plan was that I'd spend the last 2 weeks of October working on Project Love. And then in November, for like my own little NaNoWriMo write a book in 30 days challenge, I was going to do a light round of revisions to Project Vampire. So that's the vampire romance novel I was just talking about. However, I'm in like split minds about what I want to do in November now. Like I am kind of considering changing my plans a little bit. So from my point of view, I have 3 options. So option number 1 is to do my original plan, which is to do a light round of revisions on Project Vampire, just edit the first 50k very lightly and kind of get it, I guess, into like more of a readable state. Option number 2 is to work on Project Love instead. So maybe to do a draft 0 of Project Love, get like a 50k, you know, draft 1 manuscript, and basically spend the next 2 weeks of October just planning, plotting, prepping, doing all the character profiles and that sort of stuff to prepare myself for more of a traditional NaNoWriMo where I work on a new book. And then option number 3 is to basically start doing heavy revisions on Project Vampire, which is my plan for what I plan on doing in, that's a really bad sentence, which is what I originally planned on doing at the beginning of 2026 onwards. So after Christmas, I was going to take my very lightly revised copy of Project Vampire and just start doing a really intense draft 4. Now this would probably be my ideal option with my writing career plans because I want to get Project Vampire into a state of completion as quickly as possible so I can start querying literary agents and just get the ball rolling with my sort of like traditional publishing dreams. But in order for me to start working on draft 4 in November and to hit like the 50k mark, I would basically have to read it at the end of October, get all my edit notes ready and create like a new outline for draft 4 by the beginning of November. And since I'm only going to finish the book like at the end of October 14th next week, that leaves me with 16 days to do that. And for me, 16 days is not enough to prep for like a draft 4, like a complete draft 4 rewrite that I want to start on November 1st. So, I mean, there's also an option 4, which is I could just scrap NaNoWriMo and just not write a book in 30 days. That's also another option, but yeah. Right now I'm not too sure what I'm leaning towards. I don't know what I want to do, to be honest. Doing a light round of revisions now seems like a waste to me. Like I don't think there's any point in doing like a draft 3.5 like I originally planned to do in November. And I think instead what I'm leaning towards right now is just working Project Love for the second half of October and all of November, a sort of like a treat to myself for finishing Project Vampire draft 3. And then December onwards is when I can start thinking more seriously about my draft 4. That's what I'm leaning towards right now, but I am in split minds, so do not be surprised if I change my plans completely. And when it comes to NaNoWriMo and my NaNoWriMo vlogs, I'm actually working on something else completely. So yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards in terms of my like Preptober NaNoWriMo plans, is finish draft 3 up until the next week, and the second half of October I'm going to be focusing on Project Love. That is what I think right now is the most sensible decision. And in November, do 50k draft 0 of Project Love, which is actually so exciting because I've been thinking about this book for such a long time. So it might be a bit of a relief just to finally get it out of me onto the page and just say, there, I did it. She exists now. She's no longer just in my head. So talking a bit more about today and what I plan on doing, I am at a point in the book where I'm writing a very important scene, and I don't have as thorough of an outline of this as I would like to. It's essentially a conversation between my protagonist Valentina and the villain. She's kidnapped by the High King of the Vampires and she is in his palace. So basically they're having a conversation that kind of like, I guess, shows that all is lost. We already know all is lost in the book, but it's sort of like an extra knife in the wound, and also sets up the rest of Act 3. So it's quite a pivotal point in the book. I need to make sure that I actually know what I'm about to write. So I'm thinking today I'm going to plot the outline of the chapter, and then I'm also going to draft the chapter as well, and then continue on for the next. I'm just not talking very well in this video because I haven't filmed in a while, so sorry about that. But basically, I'm gonna plot the chapter that I'm about to write the chapter, and then probably also move on to the next one as well to make sure I'm hitting the 5k word count goal that I have for today. Hello everyone, how are we all doing? My dog has just gone up to the window, so if you hear barking, hey! If you hear barking, I can only apologise. I mean, if he barks, I'll have to just like start the clip over, so there he's going. Ericy, come down! Ericy, this way, this way! This way, Eric! He's come to join in with the video, although I don't think you can see him. But you can probably hear him making noises. Anyway, it's now the next day. So I started the day with around 81,600 in my manuscript, and I ended the day with around 85,100, I want to say. So yeah, about 3,500 words were written. So that was 1,500 shy of what my goal was. But to be honest, the chapter was just taking so much longer to write than I thought it was. And some fun things happened. I am proud of my writing. Like when I was writing, like I got hit with like inspiration, and things happened in the scene that I wasn't expecting because it just like came to me in the moment, like this new idea. So I had a lot of fun writing the scene. But the fact that the scene was taking such a long time meant that I think I wasn't as motivated as if, let's say, I finished the chapter after 3,000 words were added to it, then I probably would have had the motivation to write a bit more if I started a new chapter and got hit with like this new burst of energy or something. But yeah, I wrote 3,500, which I'm very proud of. Wasn't quite what I wanted, but I'm still happy with that. Today, I am going to try and make up for it though. So I want to write the 1,500 that I didn't write yesterday. And then I also want to write like an extra, I'm going to go for 2,000 words. I think, what are you doing? So I'm going to try and write the 1500 that I didn't write yesterday. But on top of that, I also want to write an extra 2000 words, which I think I can do because I'm going to spend most of the day on the train. I'm going up north for my friend's wedding, which will be very fun. I am a bridesmaid, so that is very exciting. And then after the train, I'm just going to be in my Airbnb, just in my bedroom. So I'll have a lot of downtime. And I think if I can spend that writing, doing writing sprints, that would be really amazing. So hopefully today I'll be able to match what I wrote yesterday, get 3,500 words. And then in total, I will have added 7,000 words to my book over the last 2 days, which would be really ideal. And that would bring me up to about 88.5-ish thousand words. So just shy of 90K. And then tomorrow for the wedding, I'm not writing anything. It's just not going to happen. I will not have time. I will not have time. I'll be at the venue for like 8 a.m. I'll be leaving around 1 a.m. So that's not happening. And then Sunday, if I can write 1,000, that'd be great. But to be honest, I'll be prepping for my job interview on Monday. So I think today is the last time I'll be able to get some writing in before Monday afternoon after my job interview, and then Tuesday as well. So yeah, after today, I'll have 1.5 days left with this book because it has to be finished. Sorry, my dad just called me, so I'm not 100% sure where I finished off, but I think I was essentially saying that after today, I only really have Monday afternoon and all of Tuesday to do some proper writing on this book, and then I'll be finished, which is really exciting because it means I can start working on Project Love, which I spoke about earlier today. But also scary because it means that Monday and Tuesday I will literally be going crazy writing like I've never written before to try and get this book done in time. So yeah, I'll write as much as I can today. I'm going to aim for 3,500. I think that's a realistic target. And then if I can get 1,000 words in on Sunday, great. If not, I'm not going to beat myself up. So yeah, I'll see you in the next vlog, which will be me finishing Project Vampire, my vampire romance novel. And then my videos after that will probably be focused on Project Love for a while because I think I am pretty set on working on Project Love as my NaNoWriMo, my November writing challenge project. Sorry again if you can hear my little dog Eric, he is having a lovely time on my lap, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!